Hey guys, it's Tar here, and this is my husband, Cam. And today we're here to talk a little bit about the process of rehabbing the dresser that's going in our nursery. Just for a little bit of a backstory, we are expecting our first child, a little boy, in a couple months, so we are very excited for that. And we found this amazing, well, really you found it.
I think you found it.
Okay, we can say we found this amazing dresser at an antique shop. We were just riding by and he made a U-turn. But you know what, I did find it because you were looking at something else. And I saw the dresser and was interested. And so I guess you can tell us a little bit about the dresser itself.
From the seller's description, it's like a mid-century, what is it called?
Like mid-century modern.
Mid-century modern dresser, very stern wood, very practical wood. It's about 300, probably 350 in weight.
Pounds?
Yeah, probably 350 pound dresser easily. Took a friend of mine to help me get it upstairs to the baby's nursery. It was a pretty easy lift. But with the good wood, it was easy to work with, easy to sand and to buff down. So with good quality comes good work. So I think it's pretty durable. I think it'll stand around for years to come. Yeah,
so in this video, you'll see kind of all the steps he went through to rehab the dresser. It took you, what, a weekend?
A weekend.
Yeah, it took a weekend to do between the sanding, the painting, and the staining. And I'll let him take it away of what all he did because there was a lot to the process, but I do want to add a clip here of what the dresser looked like before. It was an oak wood color. It didn't have any drawer pulls, so drawer pulls did not come with it or knobs. And it was in pretty good shape. So there were only a couple drawers that needed to be fixed. And you'll see that in the video of how, that's one thing that I did help with. I did help to fix the drawers and make sure they were sturdy and everything. But if you're interested in seeing how we rehabbed this dresser, stay tuned. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. We brought the dresser in, and what did you use to sand the dresser down?
I found a new form of sandpaper. It already comes in the quarter width form instead of you having to appropriate your own full page of sandpaper. And it's actually contact paper, so it sticks to your electric sander without having to worry about those weird clamps and edges staying on securely. I think it runs about $4, $5 per pack of 4 sheets. So worthwhile investment instead of wrestling down with those end clamps. It goes right on surface. I used 100 grain to initiate the contact just to make it real smooth and get all the way down to the actual wood of the surface. Stripping away that old paint, old finish, and whatever you want to call it. Other than that, I used some hand sanders, some small, very fine pieces to like finish corners and in between drawer, crease and whatnot, like crown molding or whatever you want to call it in a dresser form. That's pretty much it as far as the stripping process. That probably took maybe a total of 6 hours, I would say, but I'm very, very thorough in proofing before I try to like move forward in the process. So I went over probably 2 times total, probably 6 hours in total for 9 drawers. And I think the dresser top is about 5 foot in length, but I think it was a pretty worthwhile project. I think it came out well.
So how hard was it, would you say, to like do the sanding? Was it really hard to get that stain off?
Not hard to get the stain off. I think the biggest thing was consistency. Making sure that I didn't strip certain areas more than others and making sure that they were evenly finished throughout. So it wasn't a difficult process, just a tedious one.
Yeah. So as for the design of the dresser, we knew we wanted something that was not very typical for a baby. We didn't really want like your typical white or gray. And so when we found this, it just made sense. And so we went with, we stuck with that mid-century modern look. And so we went with just a black paint for the body of the dresser. And then we went with a stain for the drawers. So the black paint we used was by Rust-Oleum.
It was a Rust-Oleum semi-gloss.
Yeah.
It wasn't a high gloss finish, it was just a semi-gloss finish because Tara had a particular finish that she had intended, so we didn't need anything too shiny, too flashy. Just a almost matte, but with a little cleaner coat.
Yeah, and then the stain we used was by Varathane, and it's in the color Carrington. And just so you can get a close-up of it.
These are all made by polyurethane, but the thing we wanted to do was use one that didn't have a high semi-gloss or a poly or polyurethane finish. So we used a premium finish that was just flat almost. Therefore the drawers wouldn't shine or shimmer too hard over the base or the black portions of it, just for an even finish. So we went with the Carrington premium flat finish, no gloss, no polyurethane added.
So I realized we didn't talk about the painting process at all, so this is future Tara here coming in to tell you about it. We did use just bristle brushes to paint the dresser. I would say for a more seamless finish and to avoid streaking, it may be a good idea to use a roller brush, especially on the top, because we did have to go over it a couple times because of streaking. But here you can see Cam doing the top, and you can see those streaks in the right hand corner. Again, it's something that you can go over, but just to save time and energy, it may be better to use a roller brush. We did do the front of the dresser first in order to make sure those areas were completely covered and completely painted. And we didn't paint inside the drawers because you won't see that part. So yeah, just completing the painting here. We did light coats, let it dry for about an hour or so, and then came back and did a second coat over this. Love the way that this paint came out. And also here, we didn't show you how I fixed the drawers, so I just used wood glue. This was one of the drawers that was in kind of the worst shape. You can see it was coming up at the seam, and so I put the wood glue along that seam and then also on the ends where it connects to the front of the dresser or the front of the drawer. And I put a good amount. Don't be afraid to use a lot of this because first of all it dries clear, so you don't have to worry about that color being on there, and the more you put, the more secure it is. So I let that sit for about 30 minutes and went on and dried the residue off, and these drawers are in great shape. I mean, I have literally tried everything to get it apart and it won't come apart. So if you ever need to do that, there's a tip.
And as for the knobs, so I found the knobs on Amazon and they're by the same company. I ordered them on a weekend and they got here that Tuesday. They weren't supposed to come until like that Thursday or Friday with everything going on with the quarantine and everything. So I was really excited about how the knobs look and how they look on the dresser. I mean, they were very easy to install, which you'll see here in the video. We used longer screws for the actual pulls, and then for the knobs we used the shorter screws, and they're very secure. They just look so good on the dresser itself, so very excited about that. And they were very affordable. I think for we got 25 pulls and knobs total.
How many extra did you have?
And I think I had six left over. One of the pulls and then four of the knobs, or 4 or 5 of the knobs left over. And they were like $30, I think, $30 or $40. I'll put all that information down in the description box, but they were very affordable for those knobs and for the look of them. Here is the finished product. We are so excited about how it turned out. I mean, everything just looks good. We have a few touch-ups to do, but that's expected. And just so you know what we're using this for, so we will be using this as our changing table in the nursery. So we're not gonna have like a typical traditional changing table. We'll have the changing pad up there and everything for us to do what we do on this dresser, but we'll be using this as a change table, and of course storing clothing and everything else for the baby inside the dresser. So
good thing about it is, like most baby furniture is like 1, 2, 3 quick little in and out drawers or storage space. I think this is an actual piece from like a, you know, full-size home. So we'll have plenty of compartmentalized areas for his little whatnots and things, so it's not all over the place, and keep it neat just like the rest of the house.
yep. I guess overall, for this to be our first project, what do you think about it?
No, I think it went quite well. I think we had a replica that we kind of mirrored and we hit it pretty head on. I don't think it was a bad finish at all. I think it went well with the wall and the overall theme of the room we went for in baby boy's room. Neither one of us before went to baby's room, especially our first son. We did not want, like she said, the traditional blues and moons and all that stuff. We wanted our furniture to match the same reflection and have the same energy too, so
I hope you enjoyed this whole rehab video. Let us know what you think of the dresser down below in the comments. If you are interested in other DIY projects that we're working on, specifically in the nursery and just around our house period, please let us know in the comments, and we'll be sure to get those videos out because it's quarantine and we got time. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, especially if you enjoy the content that we've been putting out. Share this video with your friends, and thank you for tuning in again. Do you have anything to say in the end?
July 12th.
July 12th. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.